Test, test.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome to Orientation Night. It is our goal to get you in and out of here in about an hour. So we're going to jump in and get moving. And if you ever have any questions, you know where I am. So today there's a lot to take in and kind of that kind of stuff. So if there's things that you missed or you're not sure of, you can always come and contact me again. I'll be happy to re-explain something if you missed it tonight. We are going to open with a prayer by Pastor, so I'll have him come, and then we'll jump in.
Hello, everyone. A lot of new faces. For those of you who don't know me, I'm Pastor Jacob Huff. It's my privilege to serve here, teaching the upper grades a couple days a week. It's a joy to be here with you this evening. Yesterday morning, I woke up, and I looked outside, and I opened the window, and I thought, this feels like a fall morning. Anyone else have that thought, right? And then my next thought was, too soon, right? It's only August. It's too soon for it to feel like fall. And here we are, and school's about to begin. And my first thought is, too soon, right? Summer is still happening, right? Change, it's a constant. We see it in the change of seasons, the change, the regular flow of life. But we gather this evening and we gather to start this school year remembering the one thing that doesn't change. Right up on the front here, on that thing behind the altar, looks like an A on the left and a horseshoe on the right. Those are the two Greek letters, Alpha and Omega, the first Greek letter and the last Greek letter. And Jesus in the Bible described himself as the Alpha and the Omega, like A and Z, the first and the last, the beginning and the end. In a world where change is constant, Jesus says, I'm constant too. And so we begin tonight with prayer. Dearest Jesus, we thank you for your constant love for us. Your love that never wavers and never perishes. It will never go away. It will never change. We thank you for your love that led you to the cross. We thank you for your love that has filled this church with people and children who get to learn about your love. And we thank you for the opportunities we have in the coming year to love the children and families of this school and this community. Be with us and bless us, Jesus. Amen.
Thank you. On the first screen that you see up here, this is our theme for this school year, especially the part in black. And surely I am with you always, comes from Matthew 28, verse 20. And as Pastor mentioned, what a reminder that Jesus, he was here for us in the beginning. He died for our sins. He will be with us till the end, and he is our guide and stay. So as we go about our school year, this is one of the reminders that the kids will have on a weekly basis, on a daily basis, that Jesus is always with them, and he's here to help them. You can go to the next slide. So we will begin by introducing our staff. Starting with the preschool classroom, we have Miss Leah Wolfrath. She is our preschool director and lead teacher. And our lead aide is Mrs. Hannah Webster. And we have another aide in the preschool room this year, Mrs. Heidi Rice, but she wasn't able to be here with us tonight. Kindergarten, we have Mrs. Carrie Ungemak and her aide, Mrs. Brooke Wiedmeyer. And in first and second grade, we have Mrs. Kelly Lohberger and her aide, Lydia Hecker. I almost said Mrs. I had a lot of Mrs. I'm like, not yet. Third and fourth grade, Miss Karen Wardell. And then fifth and sixth grade, our homeroom teacher is Mr. Phil Miller. And our seventh and eighth grade homeroom teacher is Miss Emma Tesh. She just got married. I have to remember it's Tesh. She is back doing the slides for us tonight. And we have our music teacher and second grade teacher this year, Mrs. Jennifer Knudsen. And our special education teacher, Mrs. Lacey Schneider. And I'm Peter Biggie, principal, and then I also teach in the upper grades. So glad to have you all join us this year. Our school board, I will introduce those that are here as well. Our school board chairman, so if you ever have a question, you can ask them. He is standing in the back, Mr. Mark Fisher. Can you give him a wave, Mark? Thank you. So, and then we have, I'm just like, man, too many names. Mr. Jason Novak, he is also on our school board. And Mr. Mike Remaker is somewhere in here. There he is. And then we have Mrs. Deb Krachevsky. She wasn't able to be here tonight. And Mr. Tom Yakumstal. He also was not able to be here tonight. But this is the team that is here to serve you and your students this year. So if you have any questions, we are all here to help. Next slide, please. Thank you. Chapel. Our chapel service always starts off our week. So God is number one in our school, and we want to start our week off worshiping Him and learning about Him and what He has done for us. And so our chapel service always starts Monday morning at 8 a.m. If we happen to have a Monday off, then chapel's Tuesday morning at 8 a.m. And parents, grandparents, you guys are always invited to come and attend those services as well. They're not just for the kiddos. And our first semester offerings this year are going to the Hope House Shelter here in Manitowoc, trying to help and reach out to people in our community that need it. So that's where the offerings that your kids bring on for those chapel services, we'll be putting that towards that shelter in the first semester. Next slide. All right, I will pass it on to Pastor Johnston for our new Faith 5 program.
Okay, if the very Honorable Mark Fisher, he's going to pass out some folders to you, a trifold. Maybe I could just ask you, what is the most precious gift that God has given to you? Anyone can answer. What is the most precious gift? Parents, grandparents, caretakers, what is the most precious gift? Yes. What's that? Us, you said? Oh, Jesus. Yes, absolutely, Jesus. Jesus gives us this too. Maybe we could have an answer. Okay, what's the second most important? Parents, grandparents, caregivers, what is the most important gift that God has given to you? Look around you. Children, yes, children are the most important gift. Besides Jesus, of course. That was just a wonderful answer that you give. Now, if we're going to say that children are such a very precious gift from God, then it's parents and caretakers to make sure that that they're taken care of well. I discovered a program that I think will help you take care of the precious gifts that God has given to you. And it's called Faith 5. And I'll say this maybe a little bit later if I remember it, but parents, you need to be parents and don't let your kids decide whether they're going to do this one or not. The programs are being given out there, and as they come, maybe you can, I probably didn't do enough, but I just like to go through some of this with you. Notice that on the front it says more faith, more love, more communication, more understanding, more blessings, more fun. I came up with this after I read the book, and the book would be available to you. So if you want to open the trifold, it says the challenge. What we're asking is that you dedicate 1 hour to this program for 6 weeks. No commitment after that, but the challenge is from September 10th through October 15th, a 6-week commitment. From 9:15 to 10 o'clock, we're going to be meeting up in Mrs. Tesch's room in the second floor for its preparation for the week, PowerPoint help, how are things going. We'll kind of brainstorm how the highs and the lows went for you personally with your children. And then from 10 o'clock to 10:15, we're going to ask you to go into the classrooms with your children. This is Sunday school hour, and we call it the Christian education hour. So then if you open it up, 5 easy steps. And now the program says that, and it only takes like 5-15 minutes, ideally at just before they went to bed. And the 5 steps are your highs and your lows, so the parents ask the children. Children can ask the parents too. What went well today? What are the blessings that you have? And then also the lows. What didn't go so well? And with that too, my prayer is too that we can foster some communication between the parents and the teachers that way, because sometimes their lows may be something that happened at school. Then Bible verse. I'll be putting out 6 Bible verses a week. The talk is how you apply those Bible passages or the Bible story that they're going through to their highs and their lows. Invite our loving God to pray about the highs and the lows, thank God for what went well, and maybe pray for the lows, the problems that are having. And the last one is simply to bless them, and it's easy to do, God bless you, or I love you. How often don't I hear when I sneeze someone say, God bless you? And that's all you have to do. So 5-15 minutes before you go to bed. The book on the right, if you open it up, is Holding Your Family Together. We bought 10 of those. I think we can start passing that around. Please sign up for that. Our goal is to have 10 families sign up, and a few families have already signed up for that. The participant price is $5. There's also it's out on the display table, also a workbook that goes along with it. And both of those, if you can, pay $10. And if you finish the course, then we'll reimburse you for that. If you look at the back, then, this is a quote from the book. And after reading the book, I'm confident that this is a very true statement. You want to look at the back? It says a quote from the book: imagine a home where every person feels loved, valued, and heard. Imagine an intimate, affectionate community where every evening is an experience of caring, sharing, and comfort and peace. After I read the book, and after, I raised, my wife and I, we had 5 children. And we had devotions, we had prayers, but I wish that we would have had this program when our kids were little. And when our grandkids come over, we're going to do that with them too. So the sign-up sheet is going around. I'm hoping that it goes around. And I'm hoping that everyone who did not receive a brochure. Everyone receive at least one brochure? That's great. Okay. If you'd like to sign up, and it so happened that the sign-up sheet didn't get around, please stop at the table in the back. I'll be there after our meetings. Thank you so much, Mr. Beege. I maybe exceeded my 5 minutes. I hope that I won't get a detention.
Not today. All right, if you look on the screen, this is just a reminder that at the end of the school day, our pickup line is like a drive-through lane. So you enter in off of 8th Street, that's the left side of the screen there, and then kind of curve your way around the building, and where you see the purple N, the north door, that's where we will dismiss the children at the end of the day. And you will be receiving a card that has your family name on it. If you just keep that in the visor and flip it down as you're pulling into the waiting queue, that helps us know which kids belong to which car, and then we can get the kids out to you in a safe way and as quickly as possible. If you lose it, then we'll probably be asking who you are and what you're doing here and which kid you want. If you want to park and come in, you're more than welcome to do that. We just want you to park in the yellow section there, so that would be along the chain link fence side of the north part of our campus. And then you can walk across, grab your children, and then walk them back across to your car. And then everyone exits out the 7th Street or the east side of our campus. That's behind me this way, and then you can go whichever way you want after that. So there will be cones up, and I'll be out there to kind of help guide traffic. Crosswalk signal. This is something new that we've been working on since last spring, and it is almost in place. So out at the corner, right here at 8th and Marshall, our CPO, so our parent organization and an anonymous donor, put up the funds to get one of these flashing crosswalk signals, so that if people are walking to school or if they're riding their bikes to school, they can stop, they can push the button safely on that side to notify cars that they want to cross, and then they can walk across. Just remember to make sure you look for traffic. Once you push the signal, it doesn't mean you get to go. Not everyone stops. So just be careful. But when the city made 8th Street two-way traffic, it got a lot busier in the beginning of the school day and at the end. And so this is a way to help our kids get across and get home safely from school. Aftercare, if you were here last year, you know we had that down in the lower level of our school, and you had to call a phone number, and then our aftercare worker, Miss Christine, would buzz you in. Well, we've got a new video doorbell, and it's right outside that north door. So if you have your child in aftercare, you can push that little doorbell. Miss Christine can see you, you can't see her. But then you can two-way talk to her and tell her who you are and who you're to pick up for, and then she can unlock the door for you. So that is just to the right of those north doors. That's where you will pick up your kids at the end of the school day. General school day reminders. Kids can come into the classroom as early as 7:30. And we have before care that starts at 7, and that is right in the entryway if needed. And we have aftercare that goes till 5. And that's in that aftercare room on the north door where you can find them. It is always our encouragement, if you can at all possibly get your kids here 15 minutes early, it just helps them get settled for the day and ready to go. And it's hard when you have a kid who's showing up about 7:59 and 30 seconds, and they have their whole backpack to unload, and they're kind of frazzled, and it can give them a rough start to the day. So our encouragement for you is if you can get them here by 7:45, that would be awesome. Obviously, we're not going to penalize you if you can't, but we want to get your kids off to the best start that they can have. Medications and vaccinations. Some of you have seen our school nurse, Mrs. Johnston. If you can give a hand wave again. There she is. She's in the back in the pink. Especially in kindergarten and going into 7th grade, you're due for vaccinations or to sign the waivers. So Mrs. Johnson has been diligently going through all of that for us this summer. So it's a good idea to stop in with her and make sure that you are up to date. And then also, if you need to have your child take some medication during the school day, there is an orange form that we will have in the office. If you're new to our school, it was in your enrollment packet. All you need to do is you fill out that form and attach it to the medication in the original bottle, and we will keep that in the office and then make sure that we give that to your child appropriately. Communication. All right. Couple things for communication. Always a big topic and always wondering what should happen. If you need to communicate with the school, the best ways to do that is through your teacher's email or leave a voicemail on their classroom phone. Okay? It's hard for the teachers if we're answering texts all day long, then it kind of puts a detriment into the teaching. I know it's easy to send a text, shoot a text, and it's just one, but if you have 20 families doing that, one becomes 20, and it puts a big hole in our education and helping your kids during the school day. Our main form of communication to you, especially about all things school, is called the Notes and News. It's a weekly newsletter that gets emailed out to you. It will also be sent out through our digital classroom platforms called Seesaw. And that is all general school news that is good to know what's going on and keep you informed. Your classroom teachers will also be sending out weekly emails through Seesaw, but those are more specific to the classroom. And that way you can know what's going on there also. On the tables outside, and when you registered earlier, you got a yearly calendar from school. That is just pretty much days off and major holidays and things like that. We don't put sports on there because sometimes those things change or other events. The best way to be in the know for what's going on daily at school is through our website calendar. That's on our school website, firstgermanlutheranschool.com. If you scroll down, there's a Google Calendar there, and that's where we'll be putting updates on like practice information, game information, things like that. Concerns. As a family, we don't always get along perfectly. And so if you have a concern or something that you're not sure of, we follow the process of Matthew 18, which is go talk to the person you have a concern with first. So if you have a concern in the classroom, go talk to your child's teacher. And then if it doesn't get resolved, then you can bring Mr. Miller or myself and let us know, so that way we can sit with you and your child's teacher to see if we can resolve the issue and help you in that way. Social media, as good as it can be, it can also be very detrimental. We are asking that you don't vent any frustrations on social media because it puts out a light or a fire that might be out there in the digital world that may be true, may not be true. But either way, it kind of hurts the name and the imprint that our school has. So even though there might be all sorts of good things going on, one bad comment or one bad frustration moment can really destroy that. And so if you have that frustration again, or a concern, please come to your child's teacher first. Let's get it resolved. And besides, it's easier to resolve something when you're talking with someone person to person as opposed to through digital platform. I'm pass it over to Mr. Miller, our athletic director.
I'll keep it under 5 minutes because I don't want detention. But on to the next slide. We're blessed here to have a ton of different sports. I look at my schedule and you'll see in a little bit, you're going to be pretty busy in the fall. We have volleyball, 4th through 6th grade. Practices are Monday and Thursday, and games are on Tuesday. So you don't have practice on Tuesday. Girls. And we have, game on Tuesday. We have Mrs. Lobiger as a coach, and Miss Schultz, Mrs. Tesh. I'm going to get used to that name, but all year I'll get that goofed up. Soccer, this comes up pretty quickly. We got K to 2nd grade team. They're going to practice Monday and Thursday until 4:30. We have Mrs. Gunzel and Mrs. Knox coaching that. If you can sign up tonight, even if your kid is questionable, please do that, because I have to let the tournaments on the 16th and 23rd know how many teams we have. The one on the 23rd, he said, they're capping it at 62 teams, and last year there was 60 teams. But that's kindergarten through 8th grade, so I want to get into that one. Soccer, 3rd through 8th grade, we're going to practice Wednesday and Friday until 4:30. We have a tournament on the 9th. That First German hosts. And I know CPO is going to talk a little about that. We need your help to make that a success. That's a big fundraiser for the parent organization. So if you guys can help out, please do so. I would say, kindergarten through 2nd grade families, if you can spend some time that Saturday, that would help too, because a lot of our workers, I would love some of the 3rd through 8th grade parents to be able to watch their kid. So we got a tournament on the 9th, and then we also go to the same tournament in New Holstein on the 23rd. If you like to coach, let me know. We're looking for a coach. If not, I'm going to coach it, which is fine too. But if you want to help out or coach, let me know. Basketball, 5th and 6th grade. This is the first year in a couple of years that we're going to have our own basketball team. So practices are going to be determined. Mrs. Utek is going to coach the girls. I'm going to coach the boys. Games are on Friday, I believe 5 and 6. A-team, you don't have to go back. A-team for volleyball and basketball, so that's 7th and 8th grade. We're combining with Emmanuel because we do not have enough for our own team. Everything's at Emmanuel. You're responsible for you to get them to their school. Games are on Friday, I think, for volleyball and basketball also. C team to be determined, that's usually in December, January. That's 3rd and 4th grade. If you would like to coach that, please let me know. We got track, 5th through 8th grade. Cross country, Mr. Utek is going to coach that. 4th through 8th grade, it's October 9th, and this year it's at Two Rivers, St. John's Two Rivers. Practices are going to be Friday, September 15th, 22nd, 29th, and Wednesday, October 4th. This is where notes and news and checking your seesaw is important because things come up. Sometimes we have to change the dates. A couple things on the back table. There's a concussion and a cardiac arrest form. That's put out by the state of Wisconsin. We're required to give you that information, so if you can take a sheet. If you have more than one kid in a sport, you can have both children sign up on the same sheet. Couple of key hand points, we did that one. Tardy attendance, please get to school on time. That helps me, helps the coaches know who's there for practice and stuff. Practice and game attendance, only if you're sick or family emergency, let us know ahead of time. If you're sick, obviously you can't play. If injured or ineligible, come to the game. You're still part of the team. Cheer your team on. Eligibility, this is if you have an F or 2 Ds, and we're flexible with that. We have to have the communication there. Behavior. End of the quarter is where we check for the next sport. So for basketball, we start in October, so the end of first quarter, that's when we check our grades and stuff. Playing time, a lot goes into different playing time with that, so that's kind of up to the coaches and stuff. There's not a set amount of time, B team or A team. B team, you will all get to play a little bit. A team kind of depends on the coach too. Volleyball and basketball, there is an athletic fee this year for B team and A team basketball and volleyball. That helps with the refs, help with the uniforms and other things. So there's a lot going on there. That's just, you can give that to me, give it to your coach, or give it to Mr. Mike Miller. That's our business manager in the office. So I think that's all I have.
We'll talk later, Mr. Miller. Volunteering. We love to have volunteers. Mr. Miller mentioned it a little bit already. The very first soccer tournament that we are involved in, we actually host on September 9th, and there's a ton of work that goes into that, and one way to do that is to volunteer. Out in the narthex, there's a volunteering packet that would love to have you fill in. Part of that is a simple background check. Due at the state, we background check anyone who works with our children as a safety precaution. And a driver's license and proof of insurance if you plan to drive for a field trip. So those things don't have to be turned in tonight, but when you come in during the school day or drop off or something, you can turn them in at that point. And I will turn it over to Mrs. Knudsen right away for music.
Good evening, everyone. I hope everyone has had a wonderful summer, and we're looking forward to a great new year of school. I always love this time of year because it's a new beginning, it's a fresh start. We have a very lively, vibrant music program here at First German. Our kids sing in church. They sing sometimes on Sundays, sometimes Wednesdays during Lent, but there are other times too. We're going to be having a church anniversary celebration in November, so please mark your calendars for that. There's going to be a lot of wonderful things going on with that. We also have our Christmas program in December, and a musical in the spring, and a lot of other things too. If you are interested in any piano or string instrument, I am the teacher for those here at First German, and it's on a very limited basis this year, with me being half-time music and half-time second grade. If you're familiar with the lesson program in the past, it was pretty flexible throughout the day, but that's going to be a lot more limited this year. There's a sign-up sheet in the narthex if you are interested in that, as well as more information on that. So, Junior Lancer Band. If your child is in 5th through 8th grade and they have signed up for Junior Lancer Band, if you could please just jot down their name and their instrument, that will be very helpful. Again, that sign-up sheet is in the narthex because that will help me to know when it comes for scheduling their lessons with the band director from MLHS that comes in. Junior choir will be meeting 2 days a week this year. This is also for 5th through 8th graders, and it's a wonderful group. Last year, we not only sang in church a couple times, but we also went over to the nursing home one day and sang happy birthday for one of our congregation members who was turning 103. And so it was a very special occasion. We also sing for our Lakeshore Lutheran Music Festival that takes place in the spring at MLHS, and it's a very exciting evening, and they get a rating. It's a judge listening and critiques and clinics, and oh my goodness, there's so much going on. So I encourage all 5th through 8th graders to be in that. So again, sign up in the narthex. There are 2 ensembles. Last year we started a xylophone group. We met before school for about 20 minutes once a week, and that was our little barred xylophones. And then they made their debut at Charlotte's Web, our musical, in the spring. And it's a fun group. We pick a name for our group each year and play a lot of neat songs. Something that we'll see as well if there's enough interest for second semester, I have a bunch of guitars that are sitting, waiting for people to play in my music room. So if you're interested in a little guitar club, we'll figure out how many, who, what, when, and where, and when the time comes. So if you have any questions about our music program, our offerings with that, please come see me. I'd be happy to talk with you. Thank you.
Good evening, First German family. There's a lot of good energy in here tonight. Like, really, everybody's so excited. My name is Laura Kratz. I am the president of the CPO. If you are not familiar with that, that is our version of like PTA, PTO, but it's the Christian Parent Association, or organization, I should say. So myself, along with Jenny Remaker, where is she? There, Jenny, and Beth Utek. Those are my partners in crime, per se. We try to put together a lot of the events that happen. We can't make any of those events happen without your help. Now I know Mr. Beege already touched on that, Mr. Miller already touched on that, but we are asking for your help, be it with, you know, your time and talents, be it with supplies for different areas. We need help with our hot lunch program. We'll need help with our upcoming soccer tournament. CPO not only does this type of stuff, but as Mr. Beege talked about, the crossing signs that will be going up, CPO along with a donor put together those funds to make that happen. So CPO also funded new desks in the first and second grade room this year. So all of your times and talents, that's what this is doing, is bettering our school. So we have we're meeting once a quarter this year. The meetings are September 27th, November 28th, January 30th, and March 26th. Starting at 6 p.m., we do also usually have a Zoom link that will go out. So we try to grab everybody in every way possible, be it in person, be it virtual, that everyone's voice can be heard. But again, driving home that point that we need your help. We would love to have each family sign up for 2 volunteer spots. The sign-up sheets are out there. You will see all 3 of us out there at the end of all the presentations tonight, because without your help, we can't make these things happen. The soccer tournament is first and foremost. It is our largest fundraiser of the year, and with everybody's help, it goes really smoothly. Is there anything else? Oh yeah, that's right. Tomorrow night is the back to school pool night at the Aquatic Center, 6:30 to 8:30. Again, another event that was put together by CPO. So hope to see everybody there. It's a free event. There's no cost for admission. I believe there's also concessions. Yes? Concessions are also available. But money for concessions. Yes? Okay, money for concessions. All right, I think that's all I've got. So thank you.
Thank you. One of the ways that our school family helps one another is through a meal train, you can call it. And so every now and again, families have health issues or things like that that can become a detriment to the family. And one way that our school family can help is by offering meals to them, especially if, when one parent's down, the other parent's got the full load plus working a full-time job, it can be hard to put the meal on the table. So one of the ways we try to help and support that family is through this meal train. There's a sign up out there, but what we would like to do is gather any families tonight who might be interested and put your name and email, phone number on there, and then if we do have a family in need, we'll contact you and see if you're available to help with the meal. It won't be every time, so you're not committing to, like 10 meals a year or anything like that, because we don't know when people might need them. But we would love to have a volunteer base to pull from if we have a family that's in need. This last one, I was working really hard for the last 2 weeks to come up with a corny joke to tell you about the Manitowoc Lutheran High School corn program. What they do is we have a farmer who's part of our high school association who donates his field, and someone else donates the seed, and they grow this tremendously good sweet corn. And then we, as a current congregation in school, can go pick it for free and then sell it to you by free will donation only. And then they raise money to give vouchers to future students at Manitowoc Lutheran High School. And we had picked at least a half truckload of corn Saturday morning. And if you know pickup trucks, it was an 8-foot bed, so that's a lot of corn. And it all got handed out yesterday at church. And so all of the corn that we were planning on giving to you tonight or making available tonight is not available. And then with it being raining all day, we couldn't go pick more. I might not have made it back. So what we do have a sign up out there. So if you are interested in fresh sweet corn in the next couple weeks, put your name and contact info on that sheet. And we're going to try to pick within the next 2 weeks again. And when we do that, we will contact you to come and get it. And again, it's all free will donation. The farmer told me last year they ended up raising $14,000 from this project to go towards vouchers and tuition assistance out at Manitowoc Lutheran High School. So it's an awesome thing, awesome thing. And if you want to come pick with us, we'll let you know when we're doing that because it's kind of cool to go out in the cornfield and pick some corn. So no corny joke this year, but that's why. Last two things I will say is one, if you're looking for something to do this Friday night, our Manitowoc Lutheran High School varsity football game is playing a home game against Roncalli at 7 o'clock out at Manitowoc Lutheran High School. And so if you're looking for something fun to do on a Friday night, football season already begins. And then the last thing is students in 5th through 8th grade will be getting what we call the Lutheran High Passport in the next couple weeks. And every time they go to a Manitowoc Lutheran sporting event or concert or whatever, they get in for free if they have that passport with them. After 6 stamps, at the end of the school year, we turn those passports in. If they have at least 6 stamps, they're put into a drawing for a free iPad. If they have all 12 stamps, then they're into a drawing for a $1,000 tuition voucher or something along those lines to go to the high school. So those will be coming out, and it gets your kids into all the high school events for free. Is that the last thing? Okay. So what I will have you do now, I will dismiss the teachers so they can get to their classrooms. Thank you. If you are in preschool through 4th grade, once the teachers have dismissed, you can go through. If you didn't catch the tables or anything like that on the way out, feel free to stop and make sure you sign up for those different things. 5th through 8th grade, if you want to stand and stretch for a minute, go right ahead. But we're going to keep you in here for just a few more minutes to talk specifically about 5th through 8th grade stuff. Thanks for coming.
Mrs. Tesh, are you ready? take one. I am going to make this real quick, less than 5 minutes, hopefully. So someone keep track of the time. Ms. Tesh, next slide. All right, we have our summer meeting. Your kids will get a schedule. Just so you know, Ms. Tesh teaches English, 7th and 8th grade math. I'm forgetting something. 5th and 6th grade Word of God. I teach history, 6th grade math, and Fayed, Mr. B does science and 5th grade math. We did get a new math series, so be patient with us. It's going to be new for the kids, new for the teachers, but I actually think it's a lot better than the math series we had before. I think the kids will like it. Parents will like it too if you're helping. Comes with examples too on their sheet, so you can just look there and stuff. So all your kids will get a schedule. If you want a schedule, let us know. Next one, field trips. We try each month, some will be shorter. Usually 5th through 8th grade. Our first one is going to be the lighthouse. We're going to get a tour of the lighthouse. And beach day, that's kind of a tie-in science with that. That's the first Wednesday after Labor Day in the afternoon. So you can put that on your schedule. I think it's the 8th or 9th. I'm not sure exactly what that is. So if you want to come, let one of us know. We're going to try to do foot golf, caroling, tubing, tour LPS, one of our area high schools in Watertown, Wisconsin, Woodland Dunes, and sometimes we do have spur-of-the-moment field trips where we'll seesaw you and say, oh, today we're going to walk down to the river and see a ship that came in. Expectations, we'll go through with the kids what our expectations are, but it kind of, everything revolves around being respectful, responsible, and safe. So we have expectations for the upper grades. This is one for the classroom. Next slide is for the hallways, or no. Next one is kind of the hallways too. The next slide that you turn to is the assignment book. Your kids have an assignment book. They write assignments down in. So if you have a question, ask them to see their assignment book. We do teach them responsibility, so part of it falls on your child, responsible to write it down as they grow older. And main communication is seesaw. So if you're new to the school, you will get a sheet on your desk with the QR code. If you have questions, she might be mad at me, but talk to Ms. Tesh. She's our technology director. If you would ask me, I would send you to her. So rather than go through me, talk to her. And I think that's just a reminder too, we're always with Jesus. So if you do have questions, we'll be in our classrooms. We'll be around. So if you forget today, stop on. I know it's new for some of us with 3 different teachers, but we'll be around, so please ask. I think that is all. We're going to head up to the classrooms. 3 minutes and 35 seconds. Awesome.